To our special session. Up to this point in time, we did not have any video. We do now have video for the rest of the meeting. We had no action taken prior to going into executive session, and we are now back in executive session, so I believe our video
Regular session.
I'm sorry. I believe our video will now cover everything that we will need to.
And the time, President Moss?
The time is 6:32. Item 1, consider and take action to approve non-standard water and wastewater agreement with the CP Trophy Club LLC for the development known as Meet You Anywhere. Do we have any?
Yes, I have a item. If those of you attend this MUD meeting once in a while know that President Jim Moss seldom makes a motion. He defers to other board members. So in recognition of what he and Nick Sanders have done to get to this point, I want to recognize both of them, and I want to ask Jim to make the motion.
Thank you, Director Hayes. I would make a motion then that we take appropriate action to approve non-standard water and wastewater agreement with CP Trophy Club LLC for the development known as Meet You Anywhere.
Second.
And then we have a second discussion.
Mr. Moss, I'd like to note that amend your motion and the second. In the agreement underneath, I believe it's 7G, 1G, there is language in the agreement that's not in our template and is not germane to this particular agreement or the services we're trying to provide. Since the MUD already has this public water system ID, and it also has this Texas pollutant discharge elimination system permit, I would like to have that section G that's in our in the agreement that was provided to us today taken out.
If you, before anyone does anything, if you correct, I think you said 7.1. It's actually 7.3G, as in golf.
You're right, 7.3G.
Okay, I agree to the amendment. The second agree?
Yes.
I had one thing, and I don't know if you had Andy or Dusty, if you could comment on this, on clarification of 5.1, the easements. I think a couple meetings ago you stated that you were fine with the dedications of the easements, or?
Yes, we've.
Could you come up?
Yeah, would you please come up so we can get you recorded?
Hello, I'm Dusty Dennis, 607 Loving Court, South Lake, Texas, partners with Andy Cedeno, and we're looking forward to building the Meet You Anywhere barbecue. Yes, Jennifer and myself, as well as Andy, had several meetings, and I'd like to extend my thanks to Jennifer. She spent a lot of time last week working with us to get to a place where we felt good about moving forward, and that we could go ahead and start spending more money to do what we wanted to do. But concerning the easements, we have an exhibit that's been presented with this agreement, I believe, or Jennifer has one that she can show you, where we have outlined where you guys need the easements, and we're more than happy to provide them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dusty. Any further discussion on item 1?
No.
There's no further discussion on item 1. Let's call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Item 2, consider and take appropriate action to approve non-standard water and wastewater agreement with OTD TC LLC for the development known as Breadwinners.
And again, like Jim Hayes, I'd like to defer to the president to make the motion tonight.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we take appropriate action to approve non-standard water and wastewater agreement with OTD TC LLC for the development known as Breadwinners.
I second.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
I just, I don't know if anybody's here from OTD, but I did call Andrew Rotter, I think his name is, at First State, and he was fine with the language that was in question as far as unconditional. So I just want to let you know on that, okay?
Can I clarify something too? You all were provided a new draft today. The draft that was in your packet on the internet has been changed a little. Pam went over that with y'all. She had been working with OTD's attorney on that, and they're in agreement. It's just a few minor changes, so I just want to point out that the non-standard service agreement is the one that was provided to you today.
And Jennifer, Pam, you did say you and their attorney are in complete agreement on what you presented today.
Yes.
Okay, further discussion?
I'd like to just read a couple comments to clarify or correct what was spread out throughout the community. Neither MUA or OTD were ever denied a water or sewer connection. The fact is, OTD at times, rumors started flying around on Facebook and social network, hadn't even submitted the correct application, I should say. And as Andy mentioned, Jennifer, since that time, have been working with OTD up until our attorney, I guess, finalized the information or the points in the contract. I think it was this morning.
This morning.
Is that correct? Yeah. So the other thing is there were also false statements regarding OTD up against financial deadlines, and approvals were needed by the 25th, or else we would lose breadwinners. Again, these are rumors as confirmed by Chris Gordon and Councilman Kurtz when he came by my house to talk about solutions. I applaud President Moss, Mayor Sanders, and Councilman Kurtz for reaching out rather than continue to point fingers and find a workable solution that is agreeable with everybody. Third point, contrary to some comments made by individuals, this board as a whole never held any developer hostage as it regards to the wastewater treatment plant. Fact is, the wastewater treatment plant upgrade plan was started almost 2 years ago. After the engineers presented to the public at a joint meeting with the council and the MUD their findings regarding the outdated and low efficiencies to process sewage at our current plant. No action would affect public health and safety, and the board decided to make the upgrade a high priority. That's the facts. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Carr. Any further discussion?
Well, I think it all should be noted that at our prior monthly meeting, several people got up and made comments that were basically attacking our general manager of the MUD. And I'm sure the two applicants would agree that as soon as they made their applications, she met with them almost immediately, and they worked out the solution. And you can see from the OTD application, which wasn't submitted until September 17th, and it was basically finalized this morning, that it has been a timely addressing the issues, despite what, again, might have been posted by other people on Facebook or other social media, which basically wasn't true. But again, attacks on our personnel in public really is adverse to our employees, to the district, to the citizens, to the taxpayers, especially when they're not true.
Thank you, Director Toomey. Any further comments? If there are no further discussion or comments, we'll call for the vote. All of those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. That concludes the main part of our special session. We had one other item, and for that we are going to reconvene back into executive session. Pam, would you like to read?
Yes, sir. Deliberations pursuant to Section 551.074A1 of the Texas Open Meetings Act regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Jennifer McKnight, General Manager.
Okay, thank you, Pam. We will now reconvene into executive session. The time is now 6:41. I guess we move back in the other room again.
Jennifer,
That's yours now.
can we stay here this time?
Regular session,
At
Consider-
7:09.
it's 7:09, yes, and consider and take appropriate action regarding the executive session.
Mr. President, I'd like to make the following motion regarding our executive session. I'd like us to continue with the same employment agreement with our general manager, Jennifer McKnight, with a salary adjustment as discussed in executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. The meeting is now adjourned at 7:10.
Who seconded? Jim Thomas? Adjourn at 7:10, I'm sorry.
You got a 60% chance of saying Jim.
I know. Yeah.
Or Kevin anymore, it seems like there's so many Kevins.
No, Kevin, you know,